Hi folks, guess what? I've got Fuji's new 1680 f4 lens. I bought it about a month ago and it was just a few days before a road trip to the US, New England in the fall. Boston right the way around up through Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Cape Cod, Rhode Island, not necessarily in that order, but big circle round and back to Boston. Right, we're halfway down Cadillac Mountain and guess what? I've got the Fuji X-T3 with me and I've got the brand new 16 to 80 Fuji lens. Yeah, constant f4, highly stabilized, fantastic lens to use. It's like a ideal road trip type lens to have. The reason I bought it is I really wanted a lens that would give me a longer range, both on the wide angle and on the telephoto. Now, the other lens you may have seen just earlier, I'm going to press up against my face, was the little 18 to 55 kit lens. Great little lens, really sharp, lightweight, flexible, but not quite flexible enough because I didn't want to go changing lenses all the time. Leaping out of the car when I saw yet another amazing full spectacular in front of me, I didn't really want to have to go leaping out the car again, faffing about with lenses because I wanted to get in a bit closer or maybe a bit wider. And yeah, this proved to be a real boon. It was on the camera, I would say 95% of the time, only using the 10-24 a couple of times. Shooting at 16mm, 18, 55 and then 80mm demonstrates this lens focal range, and that's the equivalent of a 24 to 120 in full frame. Then I tried some macro shots with the camera approximately 30 to 35 centimeters, 12 to 15 inches from the subject, shooting at both ends of the zoom range. Great performance for a non-macro lens. Forthcoming videos, by the way, of New England tour to come. Shed loads of them. So I was saying this lens was absolutely fantastic. And I mean, the extra 2mm you get on the wide angle side, which is equivalent to 24mm in full frame. The 1855 is really equivalent to 28 to about 85mm. This is the 24 to 120. So that extra telephoto as well was really good. And as I say, it was stayed on the camera 90% of the time. So it was fantastic. Okay, so we'll look at the lens in a little bit more detail. It's not too heavy. The zoom is extremely smooth. Very, very silky, as is the focusing, the manual focusing, just the right amount of resistance on it. The apertures, as you can see, go from f4 right through to f22. The aperture ring is beautifully smooth and it clicks on every third stop too. And the other well-mentioned feature of this lens is the 6 stops of optical stabilization. That is absolutely amazing, 6 stops. And it's so clever, this lens, apparently, that when it's mounted on a tripod, on the camera, which usually goes well together, well, it turns off OIS when it's on a tripod or a solid surface. It happens, it's that intelligent, it knows that. It's weather sealed too, which of course the back cap's a little bit stiffer on the WR lenses. Obviously lens hood comes with it. I've got a 72mm UV filter on the front. That is more as a protection for the front lens, because if you ever damaged the front optic of your very expensive lens, well, you know you wish you had a UV filter on. Pretty important, as I've found over the years. Anyway, so, yeah, and it's fairly compact, obviously, when it's zoomed in to 16mm. And as I say, that extra 2mm on the wide angle side of the lens makes a heck of a difference. That 2mm difference of wide angle from 28 to 24 is significant. It's only 2mm, but it makes quite a difference if you're up against a building where you can't get back any further. The 28 on the 16 to 55 kit lens may not quite get you in, but this will. Beautiful lens, very sharp, no issues with it that I found. And I was extremely lucky to get hold of this lens because it's only been out in the UK for about a month or so, and most people were putting their orders in at the various camera shops around the UK, and I managed to find one just days before going to New England. Yeah, absolutely. So, as I say, it stayed on the camera 95% of the time. And yes, the 18 to 55 will be sold off at some point. Now, there is, and it's worth pointing out, one little issue. When you're filming, shooting video with it, and you're zooming in and out, and you pre-focus on a set subject, and you're zooming in and out, the lens tends to, as it travels through the zoom range, go in and out and in and out into focus as you progressively zoom in and zoom out. But funny enough, and no one seems to have mentioned this yet, it does exactly the same with the 18 to 55. That lens does the same thing. So it's not really a big issue for me because when filming, I rarely zoom while filming. As I said, it's an issue. Whether there be a firmware fix, who knows? It doesn't particularly bother me. If I'd read about this before buying the lens, would I have not bought the lens? It's just the flexibility and speed of taking photos without swapping lenses that makes this lens a fantastic travel lens. So yeah, absolutely. So to conclude, would I recommend this lens? Absolutely I would. I mean, landscapes, portraits, travel in particular, absolutely fantastic lens. Highly recommended. If you can afford one, if you haven't got one, get one. Yeah, it works a treat. And I have got a load of pictures to show you and video too, all taken with this lens, coming up now. There was a lot of shots, all taken with this lens. Brilliant lens. Now all we need now, Fuji, is a 14 to 200 constant f2.8 lens. Technically impossible, I gather. But not much bigger form factor than this. Now that would be the best, the very best travel lens, wouldn't it, guys? Yeah, we want one of those. It's not going to happen in my lifetime. Anyway, see you soon, folks. Cheers for now. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you like, ding the bell. All those things all at once. Okay, cheers, bye.